How's it going? I'm Tim with the RVLandCruisers. Today is going to be for new RVers. If you find this information helpful, please start by liking and subscribing to our channel and hit the notification so that you can get the rest of the answers in this series. If you're finding this late, there's a playlist that will be set up specifically for this series. So you've decided that RVing is definitely something you want to do. You've determined that you're going to do it often enough that it justifies purchasing an RV. Let's talk about the costs. A lot of people, me included actually, they go out and they buy an RV and they spend whatever amount of money on it. You know, it can be anywhere from a few thousand for a really old used one all the way up to crazy money that I don't even want to consider in the six-figure number. I am not a six-figure person. That is a cost. You can spend a couple, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, I'm sure even higher than that, hundreds of dollars a month just in purchasing. But you also have to consider insurance. Even if you buy it outright, you probably are going to want to have some insurance on it. My insurance costs over $100 a month on top of the payment that I make for the RV. But those are things that you probably expect. The things that people forget or that you don't realize is an RV or a trailer or any version of it is a small version of your house. So there are things that you need that you don't realize you need. In your mind, you might be thinking, well, I have this stuff, I'll just carry it back and forth. I can tell you that very quickly it gets old, especially the more you go, the less you want to carry things like dishes and pots and pans and even clothes back and forth to your RV and back into your house. It gets old. There are lots of things like that that you have to purchase for your RV or that you will purchase, and it very quickly can get into the hundreds of dollars. Bedclothes, dishes, cups, pots, pans, different condiments that you're going to leave in your refrigerator, which leads to, are you going to put a spot for your RV to be plugged in so that it can run all the time, or are you going to have to empty all that stuff out? You know, there's lots of different costs. We had no idea that we were going to plug our RV in all the time so that it just kind of keeps it fresh because we're using it enough, and we don't want to have to cool it down or warm it up depending on what time of year it is. We don't have to do all that every single time. We don't want to have to empty the refrigerator of every single item and have to cool the refrigerator back down every time we want to leave. Or pack like we're going on vacation for just a couple of days because all the stuff is back in the house. So there's that expense that people don't think of. When we bought the RV, we kind of had an idea of where we were going to put it, but we didn't realize that we had to we had to put down some pavers and things for a place to park. We had to hook up a 30 amp for ours, a 30 amp, so that we had power. We don't have water hooked up, but that's a water hose, easy. But you don't think of these things. These are expenses that I did not account for when I went to purchase it. RVing is not a cheap way to go on vacation, and I think that maybe that is something that people think. They think, oh, well, if I own it, then it'll be cheap. Well, that's not true. On top of the fact that you have to pay to park it somewhere, even if you're paying $20 a night in a nice, cheap COE location, you still have to pay the gas to get it there. You still have to pay the monthly bill for purchasing it if you didn't buy it outright. You still have to have propane. You still have to have the stuff inside, like I was saying. It's not a cheaper way to vacation. It is a more comfortable way to vacation. There's those things. Costs can really make a difference. So before you purchase an RV, you got to realize that there are costs and try to look at the costs that you didn't think about. If you buy it, use it. Don't let it sit on the side of the house and gather dust. Which brings me to my other point. There are other possibilities when it comes to whether you should buy it or not. Maybe, depending on the kind of person you are, there is a way to lessen the financial burden. The opposite side of what we talked about earlier, sites like Outdoorsy, where you can go and rent one, you can also be the owner of one that is for rent. You can ease the burden of the cost of an RV. I have no experience with that. I have not done it. I have considered it. But personally, I'm too busy using mine to rent it out. There are plenty of people that are for this kind of thing, and maybe that's a thing for you. You definitely should do research on it before you do it. I'm sure there's lots of factors, but that might be an option for somebody that wants to do it on a monthly basis or an every 3-month basis or even every 6-month basis, but wants to own it and not be so financially burdened by owning it, because $600, $700, $800 a month can definitely hurt your pocketbook if you're not prepared for it.